पापा इंसान अंडे क्यों नहीं देते?
सवाल का बवाल, क्या कोई है जवाब?
मम्मी, ये इटली का फ्लैग है या हंगरी का?
पापा से पूछो।
सवाल पे सवाल, अरे जाने दो फिलहाल।
ऑपोजिट का ऑपोजिट क्या होता है? मछलियों को प्यास नहीं लगती? उल्लू आँख खोल के क्यों सोते हैं?
ये सवाल है या माया जाल?
ये डेटा साइंटिस्ट क्या करते हैं?
डेटा साइंटिस्ट वो होते हैं जो हर तरह के कॉम्प्लेक्स डेटा को
सिंपल तरीके से समझा सके।
जब करियर की बात हो तो सवाल इग्नोर नहीं किए जाते। करियर रिलेटेड हर सवाल का जवाब जानिए लाइफोलॉजी के साथ। लाइफोलॉजी के गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड विनिंग इकोसिस्टम के साथ बच्चों के करियर प्लानिंग को बनाए आसान by exploring various career options, identifying your child's capabilities and having live interactions with master mentors. तो अब बनो पेरेंट से सुपर पेरेंट। लाइफोलॉजी, रेडी रहोगे तो रेडी करोगे। साइन अप ऑन lifeology.com now।
बेटा और कोई सवाल है?
पापा इंसान अंडे क्यों नहीं देते?
सवाल का बवाल, क्या कोई है जवाब?
मम्मी, ये इटली का फ्लैग है या हंगरी का?
पापा से पूछो।
सवाल पे सवाल, अरे जाने दो फिलहाल।
ऑपोजिट का ऑपोजिट क्या होता है? मछलियों को प्यास नहीं लगती? उल्लू आँख खोल के क्यों सोते हैं?
ये सवाल है या माया जाल?
ये डेटा साइंटिस्ट क्या करते हैं?
डेटा साइंटिस्ट वो होते हैं जो हर तरह के कॉम्प्लेक्स डेटा को
सिंपल तरीके से समझा सके।
जब करियर की बात हो तो सवाल इग्नोर नहीं किए जाते। करियर रिलेटेड हर सवाल का जवाब जानिए लाइफोलॉजी के साथ। लाइफोलॉजी के गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड विनिंग इकोसिस्टम के साथ बच्चों के करियर प्लानिंग को बनाए आसान by exploring various career options, identifying your child's capabilities and having live interactions with master mentors. तो अब बनो पेरेंट से सुपर पेरेंट। लाइफोलॉजी, रेडी रहोगे तो रेडी करोगे।
Sir, can we start?
Yes, sure.
All right. Okay. Good evening, dear friends. My name is Rahul. I'm the co-founder of Lifeology, and Lifeology welcomes you to the big day with Dr. Prahalad Vadakepad. Lifeology is doing this program third time, the big day. In the first session, we had Jennifer Weissman from NASA. The second program was with Dr. Mukul Pathak, and then now we are going with National University of Singapore's eminent professor, Dr. Prahalad Vadakepad. This program is co-sponsored or in association with Sri Manjuladeshwara Central School, and the students and teachers are also watching this. And along with that, thousands of users of Lifeology is joining us today. Let's start the program. And I would like to invite the Vice Principal of Sri Manjuladeshwara School to give the formal welcome. Madam Sugandhi.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Sri Manjunatheshwara Central School, I welcome an eminent and versatile person like Dr. Prahalad. As robotics and artificial intelligence are becoming an essential aspect for everyone, especially students, I'm sure the knowledge Dr. Prahalad is going to share through this webinar is going to help the students immensely. Once again, I welcome Dr. Prahalad to this event. I also welcome Team Lifeology for organizing this webinar, and I appreciate their wonderful contribution in organizing such important webinars. I welcome all the faculty members present here for today's webinar. Last but not the least, all the students who are definitely going to benefit a lot from this event. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Madam. And this program is also live streaming in our Lifeology official website. In YouTube, you can check Lifeology official, and the thousands of people are also watching parallelly. So let's continue the session, and I would like to welcome Mr. Shraval S. Nadgowda to introduce our guest of the day, Dr. Prahlad Varkepat. Shraval?
Hello and good evening, everybody. I'm Shalval S. Nadgoda of Class 10th A, and today it's a great pleasure to introduce to you all Dr. Prahlad Varkepat, sir. Dr. Prahlad Varkepat, a professor at the National University of Singapore, is the founder secretary of the Federation of International Robot Soccer Association. He has also been its general secretary from 2000 to 2016. Dr. Prahlad has over 3 decades of research expertise in artificial intelligence and robotics. His translational research has led to several startups in the field of robotics, AI, and 3D printing in Singapore and India. He's an advisor to the Inventar Consortium developing affordable emergency care ventilators during this COVID-19 pandemic duration. Dr. Prahlad is the editor-in-chief for Springer's reference books on humanoid robotics. He is also the associate editor for International Journal on Humanoid Robotics. He was the general chair to the FIRA Robot World Cup and Congress Singapore 2005, general program chair to the FIRA Robot World Congress in Xi'an 2009, and general chair to the FIRA Robot World Cup and Congress Bangalore 2010. His humanoid robot and his robotic soccer teams have won several international prizes consistently. He has a residential college in National University of Singapore, where proactive pastoral care, mentoring, and leadership training are taken care of. He runs the Ideas for Life Social Entrepreneurship Challenge, seeking design innovations which are simple yet novel. He is connected to the grassroots through the frugal innovation, trips to villages in India, Cambodia, and Indonesia. I'm very much happy to have introduced Sir Dr. Prahlad Varkepat. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sharvil. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you,
Can I start?
Yes, sir. The world of robotics and artificial intelligence.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So be safe and take care. This is a time to show humanity, and we have to be careful about the world and everybody and the people around us. And that's our responsibility. So I'd like to talk about robotics and AI. Been working in this for several decades, and all of a sudden, these two topics have become so hot, and everybody is after that. And it's good. And you as future people who will be making a difference to the world, it's good to start early. I would like to say that, in here in Singapore, we engage students in the secondary schools as well as primary schools. And I've seen people really taking into this space in a big way. So all of you, anybody can learn all these things. There is no need for you to become a certain age or having a certain kind of degree or anything for that matter. It is a passion and attitude that makes the whole difference. So I've taken some of the pictures from internet, so I would like to acknowledge them. So I've been working in different areas. So I'd like to go into a particular small topic. There is something called digital labor. Not sure how many of you have heard about. This is going to redefine the dignity of being human. This is the way I would like to put it. Basically, what is there? What is meant by digital labor? Digital labor is the dull, dangerous, dirty jobs are actually now being done in several countries by certain people. Can we eliminate those jobs? And how to innovate in that space, how to reduce the risk involved, and what kind of other jobs can be created. So for this, there are what is known as digital laborers or software robots. Robots need not have to have a body. It need not be embodied. It can be software agents. So they're called soft robots or bots in general. And this is an early study, 2016 World Bank report, about close to 70% of current jobs in India may be affected. So many of the call centers can be automated with AI, artificial intelligence. And if it is a repeated job and well-defined processes are there, steps are there, it can be automated with artificial intelligence. And this is what is meant by digital labor. So from human labor to digital labor through what is known as robot process automation or robot cognitive automation, and using certain capabilities and algorithms, we can replace some of these dull, dangerous, and dirty jobs. Having said that, a lot of jobs will be lost, but there will be a lot of other jobs being created. I'll talk about that towards the end. And then I'd like to bring up the second aspect, which is very hot, and it is what is happening. The fourth industrial revolution. You might have heard about Industry 4.0, where everything will be connected. And we call in research space and also in teaching, cyber physical systems. Everything is connected. And Industry 4.0 has several aspects. So right from security, everything is connected. Security is very important. Robots will become autonomous. They'll be able to take decisions and move around, and everything is connected through Internet of Things, or otherwise known as IoT. A lot of data is there, and you use artificial intelligence, and the data is in the cloud. And then on the other side, 3D printing, additive manufacturing is coming. And then for teaching, coaching, learning, augmented reality, of course, game and other entertainment also there. So these are the areas which are very important. And then the factory of the future, where the robots and humans will share space. Currently, in industrial robots, humans cannot enter into the factory space because the robots are so powerful. If we come in the way of that motion, it is injurious to health, even our lives. So many words are here. So vision is becoming so hot everywhere, and IoT sensors are being utilized across. And then virtual reality is being used by the people there. And robots which can collaborate with humans, otherwise known as collaborative robots or cobots in short, are increasingly being utilized. And to lift heavy items, wearables, robot exoskeletons are becoming very hard. And then trucks, vehicles, and even indoor navigation are becoming unmanned, autonomous vehicles. And then there are two other aspects. You might have heard about blockchain. I don't work in blockchain. It is being used for security, for data. And then there is another area where currently I'm focusing. With data, with AI, you will be able to predict when something is going to go wrong earlier than after it is going wrong. That is predictive machine analytics or predictive maintenance. So that is going to be the factory of the future. So in the future, whatever is happening in the industry, there will be artificial intelligence driven, self-organizing Internet of Things will be there. So there are 8 essential technologies. Artificial intelligence, I'll talk about more about it. Augmented reality, blockchain, drones. Drones are actually robots, but they can fly. Internet of Things, basically sensors connected to the internet. Robotics, it can be legged, It can be wheeled, it can be bipedal like human beings, can be anything for that matter. Okay, various kinds of designs are there. And similarly, similar to augmented reality, virtual reality, and 3D printing. 3D printers are also robots. But 3D printing is very hard, and this is being explicitly stated. So traditionally, industrial robots, looking at our arms, we have created, and they can do 24/7 and continuously pick and place, high precision. There we don't end up, okay? So that is very hard. Then mobile robots came in because of increased computational capabilities, cheaper sensors, and different kinds of sensors in the last decade has seen a tremendous growth of that. And also deep learning, AI, artificial intelligence, a lot of algorithms and computational capabilities have exploded. And now mobile robots are going to share our space, our time, our resources like electricity, bandwidth, etc. So it is going to be a wonderful space. So traditionally, this is the industrial robots. They will, they will continuously run. Okay, you don't have to intervene. They do things. Everything is well programmed. And there are a lot of areas of robotics. And I'm not going to list everything, right from security, search, rescue, disaster, healthcare, manufacturing, agriculture, defense, everything, logistics, transportation, energy, quite a lot of areas where robots and AI are becoming so hot. So there are three primarily important aspects which has come into the space. One is enhanced cognition with sensors and artificial intelligence. And then that leads to more autonomy, or machines are becoming autonomous. And then the other aspect is that mobility in human environment, because human environment was created for two-legged systems. Everything what we have, chair, tables, bed, cot, steps, staircase, lifts, are meant for two-legged systems. And that is the difficulty for robots, but that is also being surmounted to a large extent. And then robots and humans will have to coexist in the space, the same space. And in the not so distant future, this is happening. So in Singapore, we have autonomous vehicles already being tried in my university here. And even robot sentry is used in the, something like a security robot in the airports, etc. And then how do they coexist? How to make them coexist? So for that, AI is very important. And then I would like to quote Gene that intelligence is what you use when you don't know what to do. It's a very interesting comment. So we need to understand that intelligence from the point of view of what is meant by intelligence and how we can do it and how robots can do it. So here there are this is a spectrum, two ends, simple task, complex task. And typically I do this interactive way, but the time is limited and we can have interactions later on. So if you want to draw a straight line, y equal to mx plus c with a slope and an intercept, very straight, simple task for a robot. But for humans to draw a straight line is very difficult. We cannot draw a straight line unless you are somebody extremely good, but not a very average man cannot do. But shaking hands, falling in love, hugging someone, or walking on two legs is very complex. We can do it effortlessly. So typically machine intelligence is was good for simple tasks. And human intelligence was good for complex tasks. We are more or less the same, but machines are becoming good at managing complex tasks with artificial neural networks, deep learning, string learning machines. And this is going to change our lives forever. And I'll talk about that a little later. So the artificial intelligence started long back, several decades back. Philosophy, mathematics, psychology, computer science, and applications to several things: reasoning, learning, planning, perception, knowledge acquisition, etc. And there are two paradigms: hard computing and soft computing. We used to say soft computing traditionally, and there imprecise models are being used. In hard computing, precise models. So when you use mathematical equations, they are precise, but we have to move away from that, and there are imprecision. That's how certain reasoning came in, approximations came in, probabilistic models came in, and fuzzy logic came, artificial neural networks came, and also looking at biological chromosomes, mating, reproduction, combination, etc., mutation. We have AI algorithms known as evolutionary algorithms. So this has been there for several decades. And again, further, there are a lot of divisions. I'm not going to this, but applications, even swarm intelligence. We can look at birds, animals, bee algorithm, ant algorithm, fish algorithm. So many are there. And all these were utilized and brought into the computer science and engineering AI space. And fuzzy logic, even Bayes theorem, genetic and evolutionary algorithm, quite a lot of things are there. So AI is an ocean. So much is there. So what you hear sometimes is data analytics. That is a small portion of it. And data analytics is mostly used in finance, is statistical models. They are not actually AI. Though the algorithm used neural network is AI, but statistical parameters and features are hard, basically, in the sense, hard in the sense not bad, hard computing, where everything is well defined. But in AI, when we use artificial neural networks, fuzzy logic, evolutionary algorithm, many things we don't understand. That is more or less black box. So there are different kinds of learning. Supervised, where you know the color based or shape based or certain feature based, you can differentiate, or you'll be able to have a regression curve fitting to really, so if you look at the COVID pattern, you can fit a curve, how it is peaking, how it is going to come down, whether it is a second peak, there is a second peak or not. And if your teacher is telling you what is good and right, then that is supervised. If there is no teacher, you explore out in the wild, that is unsupervised. So in COVID, you cannot understand where things are happening. So that's why clusters are formed. That is clustering. So then you have a center, then you try to see how far it is getting spread. So you have a radius and a boundary. So that is clustering. And also, this is useful in detecting something going wrong in an industrial automation or manufacturing processes as well. And then you might have heard AlphaGo game. The Go game was, Go champion was defeated by the AlphaGo software. The reinforcement learning was used. Reinforcement is very simple. If you look at a football, the goalie kicks the ball out, the defender gets it, midfielder gets it, forward gets it, and finally the attacker kicks to the opposite goal. That final kick is a result of a series of kicks. So the reward obtained at the final state is given back to the previous states. Then you can learn the series of actions which leads to successful scoring of a goal. This is called delayed rewards and state action pairs. So very interesting. We work on a lot of things of that kind. You use this model for managing your parents, your father or mother, if you want to get something done, and even with your teachers and friends, okay? So there are certain things like that. Okay, so supervised learning, unsupervised learning, classification, clustering, and reinforcement learning. These are all very hard these days, okay? So what actually all this AI? Basically, it is from input to output mapping. And that mapping is nonlinear. It's a nonlinear surface. Here it is three-dimensional, but in real life, I mean, in real AI spaces, it is multi-dimensional. In some of the data we get, it'll be 2-digit or 3-digit or 4-digit or more number of parameters will be there, and the dimensions can go to such a level. So we talk about hyperspace mapping, and it's very difficult, impossible for humans to really visualize it. So, and there are, as I mentioned, evolutionary algorithm looking at the biology. Biology is an amazing field which has really brought a lot of things for us. We survive because our parents made, genes are exchanged, then you cut one part and mix it with other, and then a mutation. So that's why the variability is there. I may have certain similarity with my father and my youngest brother, but I am unique. Everybody is unique, and that makes our lives wonderful. So we can look at a lot of things of this kind, and I cannot spend too much time on this. And what happened recently? So in 1950s, AI came into. Traditionally, AI was for symbol manipulation, and symbols do not have derivatives. So AI could not handle changes with respect to time. And that was changed later with machine learning. We could change. And you learn mathematics, the derivative of a variable with respect to another. For example, y, dy by dt. The y varies with respect to time. And that is a change. And how do you capture that change? So if you look at neural networks, it's all about derivatives, partial derivatives. I don't know whether you study in CBS or in central school. It's called partial derivatives. Partial derivatives are very simple. If you want to manage your father, what you do is you manage your mother. So father is dependent on the mother, mother is dependent on the child. So that is a partial derivative. So father is partially controlled by mother, and you partially control the mother, so that's how it is. And then came in 2010 deep learning that changed the whole space, looking at our brain models, deep levels of abstractions brought in. And then further, there is something called extreme learning machines, where humans do not write the programs, programs write programs. That is used in AlphaGo. So you should watch that movie in Netflix, by the way. And all deep learning has been applied to so many things out there. And that has transformed AI, and that has transformed the whole industry, that is transforming IT, and a lot of jobs are created. Okay, so complex industrial challenges now we can handle better. A lot of data is there which is used to really understand the way things change, and computation technologies have improved a lot, and there are wonderful algorithms. All these are leading to increased use of machine learning. And across the world, there are a lot of initiatives. If you look at India, Making India, they are putting a lot of things to really give you a nutshell of what is happening in robotics and AI. It is omnipresence, anything, language, speech, entertainment, vision, aerospace, utilities, data science, security, health, clinical trials, marketing, automation, hospitality, advertisement, business intelligence, everywhere it is impacting. Wherever you have data, where we can have a nonlinear mapping, wherever you can try to segregate things, and feature-based approaches where we can use AI. And robots becoming movable in any space, then AI is embedded within that. Through vision, you can interact. So some of my students are working on how to identify the facial expressions of humans and then say how to say hi, what words you use. So one of the example, you can say that people with autism, okay, never say autistic people, okay, people, they are people first, people with autism. Can we use robots for that? That's a very interesting area. So I can give you one example in a smartphone manufacturing company. This is from China. Before, they had 650 people, and then 90% reduction after robots came in. Number of robots, 65. Defects came in below 5%. Production per person increased 2.6 times. But to make these robots and make them functional and production and a lot of things, a lot of new jobs are being created. So Sundar Pichai has said artificial intelligence could have more profound implications for humanity than electricity and fire. Think of what electricity made to human beings, what fire made difference to human beings. It's much more than. It's a powerful statement by him. And now this is very important for you. This is for your future. By 2025, 5 years from now, 97 million new roles will emerge which are more adapted to the new division of labor among humans, machines, and algorithms. This is from World Economic Forum October report 2020, few months back. They also say 85 million jobs will be displaced by a shift in the division of labor between humans and machines, and 97 million jobs will come. And there are the 20 job roles which are increasing demand. So first is data analytics and scientist, AI and machine learning, big data, digital marketing, process automation. I mentioned about robot process automation, digital transformation. So many things are there. Okay, and data entry clerks are decreasing. Administrative and executive secretaries will go away. Accounting will become automated. Bookkeeping will become automated. Auditors, assembly, quite a lot of client services, quite a lot of things will become, not very highly in demand. So this is the future you have to have. And there are skills, analytical thinking, innovation, active learning and strategies, complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, leadership, etc., and persuasion, negotiation. So there are 15 top skill sets for 2025. So be prepared for that. So what I would like to say is that in future, you will not be having a career for lifetime. You understand what I am saying? One job throughout your life and you retire? No, it'll be a lifetime of careers, multiple types of careers. And boundaries are vanishing. We have, several areas like physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, blah, blah, blah. And engineering also, electrical, mechanical, electronics, computer, mechanical, civil, biomedicals, chemical. Now things are coming together because an intelligent system, whether software or hardware or embedded software, cannot be confined to mechanics. It cannot be confined to electronics alone. You need all that. And that is a space where you have to. So be careful about selecting your higher study topics where you should know how to learn new skills. Don't be married to one particular area. Be prepared for having to explore a number of areas. This is what I have to say, and this is what I have to share. I use a number of pictures from internet for academic purpose with due respect to all those people. So be safe, take care, help each other. Thank you. Rahul, I would like to stop here and now time for questions. There are a lot of questions. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. In fact, that was a nice beginning. Let's go for more questions. And if the participants have any doubt and any question, they can put in the Q&A session, and we'll try our level best to ask this question to Dr. Prahlad. And sir, I would like to invite our first question from Prajakta. Prajakta Sahu, can you please ask your question to?
Yes, sir. Thank you to give me a chance. Sir, so hello, I am Prajakta and I have a question. How artificial intelligence will increase our efficiency because they are made up of, because they are made from our human intelligence, no, sir, natural intelligence, that's why.
It's a very interesting point. So, we're all intelligent in one way or other. Everybody is intelligent, okay? Nothing to do with education, nothing to do with a degree. And, in my childhood, I came from a farmer family, and some of the workers never go to school. They cannot read or write, but they knew everything about, agriculture. And so the degree came, and that really created a space to evaluate us in terms of memory and reproduction. I would like to say every species on Earth and has got its intelligence. Uh, it doesn't need to have so much of intelligence beyond a point. It has to survive in its own space. Elephant has its own. Blue whale has its own. So everything has its own. So that is one point. And our intelligence is for us to enjoy life. Okay, and this is not to degrade us. So I would like to say, do we need to increase our efficiency every time? I doubt. So maybe it is philosophical, but AI can make our lives better and easier, because AI itself can learn a lot of things which we may otherwise go unnoticed. And with our emotions, our body is a chemical factory, by the way. Okay, if you see a beautiful person, you may fall in love with him or her, or like that nose or whatever it is. Chemicals will go up or down, whichever way it is. So you can have machines with artificial intelligence algorithms to make better decision making. For example, a medical doctor, you have an X-ray and you have an AI system, and that will give you all the possible things there with certain level of clarity, and that will make decision making much more better. So from that angle, we'll become more efficient. Did I make that clear, Projector? Thank you.
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now the next question is from Tejasvi. Tejasvi, you can ask.
Yes, yes, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Tejasvi Harsha. I'm from class 10B in JSS. So my question is, in educational field, will teachers be replaced by AI humanoids? And if they will be, what will be the drawbacks of the machines? Because as children are learning through human interactions since ages. So
that's a very interesting, very interesting question, and very relevant. Okay. Have you watched Blue Lagoon?
no, sir.
Yeah, you should watch. Two kids stranded in an island. They learn by themselves. We can learn by ourselves. We don't need teachers.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I mean, but if you want to compete for a examination, and the examination set by teachers, then you need teachers. Okay. So for me, if you have passion, and I've learned artificial intelligence not from my teachers, I learned myself. I learned physiology, I learned neural network, I learned robotics, everything myself. After some time, you learn everything by yourself. Okay? Nobody will be there to teach you. Okay? But the point is that some people require teachers. So I do leadership, you mentioned in my introduction. So our brains are wired differently. So I do brain mapping, not the biological or medical one, but thinking and behavior preferences. So I'm good in certain ways, and my son is good in some other ways, okay? But not everybody is the same. So if you select a team for a work, people with different capabilities will be taken. So, for example, I'll tell you one typical example. I'm not good at remembering things. My memory is bad.
Yes, sir.
I could have failed miserably in the Indian education system. My brothers did. But I had a ritualistic way of really managing it. I could become what I am. And just because of the education system is focused on memory, how many people are rejected by the system? You should throw away that. So it's very important for you to think, the future leaders should think, this is not the way to teach. This is not the way to learn. Anybody can learn. Your brain is much powerful if you can walk on two legs. I work in two-legged humanoid systems. It's very complex, by the way. Also, recognizing a human face is very complex. Our brain is very good even before we go to LKG. And then artificially created alphabets, artificially created symbols, artificially created everything is put in front of you, and you're made to digest it and memorize it without really knowing why they are for, what they are for. So it is not the problem of our brain. It's a problem of our system. Okay. So I strongly advocate, and I don't have in my modules, I either I do open book examination or continuous assessment. I don't believe in written examinations beyond a point, but certain students require it. So I respect it. Okay. And we have to respect it. So teachers may become, may not be required for everybody. So massive online open courses, there are no teachers, there's no interaction, it's all already recorded. And AI will become a place where it can replace to a certain extent, but not everything in the near future. Okay, so we need to see how that will happen in the future. We have to play it out. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, there's another question from Yashas. Yashas, you may ask a question.
Good evening, sir. I'm Yashas. And my question is, AI is developing at a very fast pace. So, because if AI gets independent intelligence, then we might face a threat. I think machines should um, enhance should be used to enhance human abilities because AI can't be trusted. What do you think should be done to prevent AI from gaining complete independent intelligence and from gaining complete access to everything? For example, like Google.
Yeah, so it has got different dimensions. One, we watch a lot of movies and they exaggerate a lot of things. That's one. See, when you look at conscience, or consciousness, it's very difficult to really capture that anywhere. And AI can do certain things, automate it and improve. But if you look at a living organism to survive, the autonomy, that is survivability point of view, there are some frameworks. It is not as good as humans at this moment. Eventually, it may have better in certain ways, but our existence is based on survivability and certain needs of the human body. So hunger, love, affection, anger, there's a lot of emotions. So those emotions are not there for AI. So why should AI overrule us? Okay, so we overrule because of our our emotions and our whatever pride and whatever needs and all that. Okay, unless and otherwise AI has that kind of a state reach, which I don't see in the immediate future. But quantum computing is becoming so hot, and there the dimensions are different. And if that comes and AI comes in, maybe there may be some thresholds being crossed. But having said that, I don't think AI will be a threat to humanity as such. Actually, humans are more threat to humans. Who kills humans? Not animals, not meteors, not dinosaurs. We kill ourselves. We are bad, you know? Don't you think so? How many people die on the road? How many people die because of all kinds of, I don't want to use that word, right? So let us be in perspective and don't penalize AI for that, okay? AI is definitely meant for helping our lives better. I believe in that. But one day if it crosses the threshold, I don't know, because we can't imagine beyond a point at this moment. Yeah, thank you. It's a good point. Yeah.
So I would like to take a couple of questions from online. There are some very, very interesting questions. The question, can AI replace a teacher in some way?
It can replace to some extent, definitely. But if someone requires a pat on the back and eye contact, may not be able to do that. Some people require it because I got benefited because There was a time when I cried in front of my teacher, and that teacher helped me, and that transformed me completely. So we are emotional spaces, and teacher will be required for certain people, but there are certain others may not be required. But I don't think a person entire life cannot really have a teacher at all. There will be teachers in one way or other. Yeah.
Okay. Now I would like to take one more question from online. Uh, what do you mean by neural networks?
Oh, that's a very interesting point. So our brain has biological neurons, and it has got a nucleus, it has got a dendrite, it has got a connection point synapse to connect to the rest of the neurons. And we have modeled all that in mathematics. So in traditional psychology, I think your teachers might have learned the purpose associative memory, okay? And so when you are shown A in, say, lower kindergarten, and the teacher says A, that sound A, and then you have the shape of A, then you're associating that sound to that symbol, okay? This is called associate memory. Now, that happens in our brain, and some people will cook it faster, will learn it quickly, some people require more time. So there are biosignals in neurons which are passed through the dendrites, and the synapse is a gap. If you study in biology, that gap is like a potential difference. You need to have a potential to cross a particular point to really cross that signal to connect to the next neuron. That's why sometimes these connections happen quickly for some people, may not be easy for some others, and with age, some of these things can really lack, or you may forget sometimes. Now, this can be captured in a mathematical form. In a you can write programs where you have multiple signals coming to a node, you sum them up, and then you go through what is known as a non-linearity. Okay, it's not a straight line, it's a non-linear thing. And that non-linear thing will map from an input space to an output space. Now, what happens is that if we have 5 inputs, and 5 inputs are weighted by W1, W2, W3, W4, W5, the input multiplied by the respective weights summed together, and that is given as a function to a non-linear function, then you have an output. And if it reaches a threshold, I'm saying one simple example, there are varieties of neural networks, then the neuron fires. And you can have a large number of such neurons interconnected. And that is multi-layer perceptron, multiple layer neural networks. And that can have multiple layers, and that is deep learning. So we model our biological neurons in mathematical form. To tell you, sometime back, one of my PhD scholars, I worked with her. There are, at that time, it was 15 years back, our biological neurons have 2-digit number of characteristics. And we could, at that time, we could model 7 of them. And these are all highly nonlinear. So you can model them and use for learning. So that is the neural network. Deep learning uses neural networks.
Right, sir. Thank you. And the question was from Fareen Nas Patel. And the previous question, can AI replace a teacher, is from Anu Maskara. So, okay, before I go to the questions from the viewers, we have Rohan with another question. Rohan, you can ask a question.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I have a question for you. That when and how should healthcare systems use a fully equipped themselves?
Fully equipped?
Themselves, yeah, the healthcare system. How should they fully equip AI? When and how?
Fully will be using AI, right? In healthcare system. Okay. So actually, there are robots which can do surgeries, very precise surgeries, keyhole surgeries. So that has been there for decades. And then AI is used extensively, for example, X-ray, understanding X-rays and CT scans. There are a lot of companies out there. And lately, even for vital signs are captured and AI is used, and we can predict certain occurrences. And also, see, if you look at COVID, there are a number of companies coming up with what you exhale in that, with the help of certain sensors and AI algorithm, you can detect whether COVID is there, or you saliva, and so many things are this. So already it is being applied to a large extent. And a fully equipped, there are certain hospitals which are very advanced. So I don't know whether you are referring to a complete building being AI. Yes, that is also happening. There are smart houses which are completely, more or less controlled by AI and robots. Yeah, but it has not become common practice everywhere. But in medical space, quite a lot of applications already there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rohan. Can we invite Mr. Prince Mehta for the next question? Prince, you can ask a question.
Good evening, sir. I have a question for you, sir. So, what is difference between AI machine learning and deep learning?
AI is artificial intelligence is a general umbrella term used. So we used to say computation intelligence, but AI is known as the typical word by common man. So everybody uses AI. So there's a bigger umbrella. Within that, machine learning is there where you can learn. AI originally was predicate logic, rule based. If something else, you do something. So that was a typical one. Typically, if you look at diagnosis, we have rules. So the doctor will look at you. You have, they look at your eyes, your tongue, and your heartbeat and pulse and other things. So there are certain rules to follow. Okay, so that was typically a traditional AI. Machine learning came. You can learn yourself. Okay, so it's something like if you want to swing your arm for golf, okay, playing, how many number of times you try that? Then you learn. What do you learn? Some muscle motions in a peculiar sequence, or you bowl in the cricket, okay, and bat. You learn with practice. So that can be done by machines. That is machine learning. And now neural networks could make it much more faster because it is highly parallel like our neurons. And that neural networks in 2010 came with deep learning. And that is a neural network, but it has got different layers of abstractions. So for our neurons, if you look at the way our vision is done in biological neuron, there is something called visual cortex. It has got cones and rods and different layers of ways of really understanding the vision process. And you can really model them and you can get them. So that is one way of doing it. Or you can get them modeled in neural networks. And then there is a large number of layers and deep learning came. So did I make it clear, Prince? Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Prince. So there is a very interesting question. I'm taking it from different sources. To study robotics, we have to be, should we be in the science stream, or can we still study robotics even if we are from other stream? The question is from Manasvi and Meher.
That's a very interesting question. Okay, now, see, I'm working in electrical and computer engineering. And you know who are my colleagues? They are from mathematics, they are from physics, they are from all kinds of roles. So anybody can become a robotics engineer. So one of my colleagues who works in drones, he's a mathematician. So if you look at robots, it's all about mathematics. You may wonder why I'm saying. If you look at Google search, it's all mathematics. So if you look at if you search Prahlad, you'll see humanoid. Why? Google knows the word Prahlad and humanoid are connected because I've done so much work. So the distance from Prahlad to humanoid is calculated in a particular way. And there are many ways to really calculate. Similarly, if you have Uber, a number of people ask for Uber, and there are a number of Uber cars. How do they distribute themselves? That is AI algorithm. And that is based on certain distances, estimated time of arrival. And you can try to create that, and it is pure maths. So many of the robotics engineers get jobs in Google, and you can get jobs in even autonomous cars and all that. So if you know any area, you can work. So for example, robots have to interact with humans. You don't have to know robotics, but you know in terms of communication and other aspects, you can contribute to the robotic space. So robot has become a platform for several aspects to come converge. So sometimes in our team, so I'm working for a particular project I cannot reveal beyond a point. I have people from School of Medicine, I have people from pharmacy, I have from engineering, I have people from design innovation. I'm engineer in AI and robotics, and there are social scientists also. Elderly homes, people observe them. So you cannot really have all the knowledge. So you have to come together and to develop something. But typically, if you want to know the mathematics behind, you need to have mathematics. And physics is very much required if it is robot hardware. And if you wish to take it to another application domain, you need to know that domain knowledge. Yeah.
Another very, very interesting question coming from the server. Will there be a world of Terminators? That means, will we be ruled by machines?
I don't know, to be frank with you, because it all movies, okay? Movies make, and some of the things happen in movies 20 years back. But why should machines have anger? We have anger because we are chemical factories. So, but let me ask you, I'm using this particular word in this online forum. A gun cannot kill a person. You need a human being behind the gun to really trigger the gun, okay? Or a program to trigger that. That is written by a human. So humans are more harmful than Terminators as far as I'm concerned, okay? So let me put it that way, okay? But somebody writes a program to deliberately, create such scenarios. So we are, people working on ethics in robotics. What can be done, what cannot be done. So different countries are drawing laws, regulations, regulatory frameworks. So for example, an autonomous car gets into an accident and somebody is affected. Who will be blamed for? Is it the car? Is a AI algorithm? Or the infrastructure? Because infrastructure cannot be independent. The car has to interact with the infrastructure. So for example, AI becomes omnipresent, the roads will become intelligent. You don't need traffic lights, because traffic lights are for the humans. You don't need that. You can have sensors and active beacons. So you have to really rewrite the legal frameworks also. So much is happening, and I think it will happen soon. In a decade's time, so many things will happen. We have to wait and watch, but I don't think Terminators will be allowed by humans. I don't think so, okay? Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But these are some of the basic and funny questions that people are processing. Right. So before we have a less minute to finish so I have a few fundamental questions. The students and the parents who are watching. Some of the questions are asking, how can I become a robotic engineer? What is the first step that I have to do after my 10th standard?
Yeah, so this is India specific and abroad. So typically, you can take an engineering stream to start with. It can be electrical, electronics, computer. In India, we have these three engineering streams and departments. Here we don't have, we have combined it. And mechanical also you can be in computer science, okay? Because all these are very important in robotics. Again, robots are different kinds. You use electric motor in some robots. You use pneumatics. You need, air. or you need some liquid to really actuate these robots. So even if you're a chemical engineer, you can still work in robotics. So if you wish to learn, you take maths and physics. They are very important. And then get into an engineering stream, which is mechanical, electrical, electronics, computer science. But I don't suggest you to go to IT per se, because IT is typically in India and Gulf, and we don't have the IT as a bachelor's degree program. And then in undergraduate study, typically you study the basics. And there are a lot of components to build an engineering system. And if you want to do more deeper into robotics, again, it varies from institutes to institutes and universities to universities, how many technical electives are there. Here we have a large number of technical electives in third year and fourth year. In India, in some universities, not so many, but you can choose certain technical electives, for example, vision processing, or you can use actuation related, sensor related, or AI related topics which are there if you have. And then a final year project is generally required. That also we can do in a robotics space or in applications. Robotics is always about applications. Okay, robots are meant for applications. So that is one way of doing it. Even if you cannot do that in your undergraduate engineering degree, you can go for masters. And masters, you can choose. There are a number of institutions providing robotics based special education. In India also, I may not know every state, but in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, there are a number of universities giving BTech, Bachelors in Technology in Robotics and Automation. So I sit in some committees. So it is there in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So you may opt for that if you wish to. And IITs also provide, NITs also provide. A lot of IITs and NITs, they have very special programs. So IIT Madras has recently a number of programs for that. And then if you want to go deeper into it, you have to go for a PhD. And then, you can do research in that space. So research is about pushing the boundary of human knowledge, however small that is. And we all contribute to that knowledge in one way or another. Is that okay, Rahul?
Yes, sir, definitely. Thank you. And there is a question, and that's actually that question is to me. And the question is that what is lifeology? So dear parents, teachers, students, everyone who is listening to our session, I just want to let you know that lifeology is actually the science of careers. And we would like to say that the lifeology is the science of understanding different personalities, different passion, purpose, etc. And we help people to identify their meaningful career. And there is a website called www.lifeology.com, and you'll be able to see more details about it. I'm just going to share, I'm just sharing the website right now over here. So please visit, and Lifeology is actually helping you to understand what is the best career for you. See, there are many number of careers, and today we have robotics and artificial intelligence discussion. Like that, we are discussing many careers here. So whichever is choosing, whichever is best for you, please choose that, and that will make your life beautiful and purposeful. Right?
Rahul, may I step in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One thing I would like to say, don't go for a career because your mother said that, or father said that, or uncle said that, or friend said that. You should know who you are, okay? Understand whether you're an analytical person or you are a person who is more memory strong, or you're a person kinesthetic, you do things, or you have art, or you have certain things. So even in art, AI is used. Okay, so you should understand yourself first. And there are certain online tools, and I don't know whether Lifeology is doing it. I mean, maybe Rahul can talk about it. You should know your preferences. Okay, so whether you are a structured person, whether you are a thinking out of the box person, I may appear very structured, but naturally I am not. I'm very strong towards thinking out of the box, but you may not see it because of my experience. That is my way of really making myself fit into certain space. So there are hidden knowns and unknowns in you. You will learn about them as you go along, but certain tests can help you. But these tests are, whatever you get from those tests are not permanent. You will change. And what you are now and what you can be later on could be different. Okay? So have an open mind for yourself. Whatever you do with passion, finish it off, then be independent, then you do whatever you really like to do. All the best to you.
Thank you very much, sir. And we're coming to the conclusion of the session. In fact, it is a very, very great session, I must say. The third big day is a very successful one. We have more than 6,900 participants viewing from different streams from UAE. Thank you, UAE, for doing great work. GEMS community, we have from Qatar, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kuwait, and Bahrain. And people from Vietnam are also watching it, and it is extremely um, uh, great program. So inviting Mrs. Nanda Negudi to give the word of thanks on behalf of Manjunatha and Lifeology.
Good evening, everyone. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Our intelligence is what makes us human, and artificial intelligence is an extension of that quality. It was our privilege and honor to hear you, Mr. Prahlad, sir. We wholeheartedly thank you for sparing your valuable time in sharing on your expertise to all our young and future generation kids. I thank you, Mr. Rahul and Team Lifeology, for hosting this big day and making our school, Sri Manjunatheshwara Central School, as a co-host on artificial intelligence and robotics topic. Personal thank you to our principal, Srimati Sadhna ma'am, and our school coordinator, Sukanya ma'am, for all the support in happening this event. Our lovely students who all attended today's webinar, I wholeheartedly thank you each and everyone. Thank you so much. Good night and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nanda. Thank you, Prahlad, sir. And also through you, I would like to thank National University of Singapore for doing great work for the humanity and the world. Once again, thanking from Lifeology. We'll be back with another fantastic session next week. And the topic, please stay tuned. The links will be shared with you. Thank you and good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.